Welcome, everybody, to the Fantasy Football Journeymen podcast.
You better be praying to God because, you're 14 and losses in a row. You're going to need Jesus.
Am I wrong?
I thought you were pretty wrong, yeah.
Okay, are we having the Rocky theme over this shit or something like that? That'd be great. All right, sit the fuck down. So, Bobby, why don't you pick up the mic and explain to the Fantasy Football Journeyman Pod crew why you are in such an attire?
As if I would dress any other way. As the people's champion, I think it's important that, obviously we just finished 2023. And as we look back, on everything now that we're in 2024, it's important to mention certain accolades. For example, throughout mankind, there's been peaks of, just human perfection, right? Mm-hmm. We had Alexander the Great, 323 BC, invading Persia. We have 117 AD, the height of the Roman Empire. Okay. 1498, Leonardo da Vinci finishes the Last Supper mural. Mm-hmm. 1504, Michelangelo's David.
Oh, that was sick, right?
1665, Isaac Newton creates calculus. Right out of nothing. Mm-hmm. 1947, the Manhattan Project invents the atomic bomb. In 2003, we finished the human genome. And then in 2023, Robert Lawnhart's fantasy team absolutely dominates the competition. So to be part of that, experience that, 100 years from now, people are going to be like, was he more than a man but less than a god? I feel like that would be an accurate assessment.
Debatable.
With the responsibility bestowed upon me, for achieving absolute perfection in fantasy, it's just, I'm ready to accept that role. I'm ready to be your hero.
Okay. Little long-winded, but definitely deserved.
I mean, damn, you could tell he practiced that.
I feel like he was trying.
There's
out
a lot
for
of
WWE.
preparation.
That was awesome.
That would have been a great thing to feed for me as an intro because he definitely trumped me on that.
Real quick, just so the camera could see.
Which one?
And you hit record on that, right?
Debatable.
36 regular, in case you guys were wondering.
I mean, again, man, very, very much deserved. It is nice for one of us to get a championship in the first inaugural season of FFJP. But, like I said, I'll give you that. We'll probably put some applause over the top or something like that, too, just because it is a feat.
It's going to be all sad trombone.
I don't have to hear it from peasants who lost first round, right? Both of you guys.
I was in the championship in my one league and I lost. I ran into a buzzsaw from Lamar Jackson.
So, right, you played Lamar Jackson. I also played Lamar Jackson, and I won,
Mm-hmm.
even though he had his career best day that he's ever had as an NFL player.
Well, did the team you play put up 176 points?
But was this in the double quarterback league?
It was.
Yeah,
Still,
so that
176
bullshit
is
league.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Wow.
Right. Okay.
The most usually is like 150 or something. That's like a lot. 176 is like unheard of.
Yeah, that is definitely a buzz.
I put up 132.
Now, hold on. I want to at least bring back a little metrics on my, domination of the season. It is a 14-man league, 1-4, not your, weak 12-man leagues.
Okay.
There's 9 positions, regular spot positions, and 7 people on the bench, 14 teams. We are at 224 or something like that at the end of the draft of players drafted. So when you guys are worried about maybe a wide receiver too, we're looking at people that were benched on the bench, deep in our leagues. And keep in mind, I picked up Flacco. Herbert went down. I had Mostert. I had CMC. I picked up Jaden Reed. I was just crushing it in the waiver wire. I mean, Matthew Berry probably couldn't even keep up with me at this stage. So it's
Tucson, Arizona.
So it's important to, recognize the value of this podcast because at least 1 out of 3 of these, individuals know what they're doing.
Okay.
All right. Well,
I like that this is going to be Bobby's book, My Plight, the 2023 Fantasy Football Stadium season.
First of all, made it in all 3 leagues to the playoffs. Went all the way in one and was first place.
Hold on, you're in Woj's league, right?
I am.
So that's pretty much okay. So you made it in 2 leagues.
That one I shot
good.
myself in the foot. That was bad.
Yeah, you made it in 2 leagues according to me because
I don't know what you're trying to convey here. You're trying to get into this league, so you better shut your tone.
Once I'm in there, they're gonna be like, "It's not fair. He keeps winning."
I
can't wait
believe
for that
I believe this
conversation.
man has just submitted his resume for that position.
No, he's
Well-
he's on the on deck circle for sure.
Two-time champ here. So, I'm
I am a
comfortable.
one-time champ, so I'm at least in the conversation. This year didn't go as planned.
Wait, was that the same time I helped you set your lineup for the win?
You didn't help me set my. What are you talking about, man?
He was worried, and if he chose the other quarterback he was thinking of, L.
It literally, I asked for your advice on it. I hit the button though. It wasn't like ghost, like you were like, "This is."
I'm just kidding. Woj actually helped me out for some of my weeks too by getting some guidance, but I pushed him over the edge. I was like, "No, you have to go with what was it, Fitzmagic?" And
Fitzmagic
he pulled up a huge
to,
week for
Devontae
you way
Parker
back when.
went crazy on that. But dude, it is a very large accomplishment, and it gives our the shit that we talk about a little bit more validity throughout the year. So I appreciate that.
Hardware.
But that does. I mean, we kind of the fantasy season for these two guys, it went all right. Ryan got a little bit of unluck in the running back department. Still put together a solid team. I just got destroyed in the playoffs by like 60 points, both.
Look at all these excuses.
No, I'm letting the fans know what happened. I got destroyed in the
pounded.
playoffs.
I fucked up. I played Tyreek Hill when he was hurt. I thought he was going to play, and I got a 0 in my lineup. And I lost by like 6 points. I would have played
No, I have
Calvin Ridley. I would have won. and Bronson ended up winning the whole thing.
Yeah.
I have an issue with that because this is the same guy. Like, you overslept. Like, I understand being tired, and he overslept the noon games to fix his lineup. I can't excuse that. I'm sorry. I love sleeping in too. I cannot excuse that.
Hey, I know somebody who's got a solution for that. Just give him
Coffee.
your password, and the commissioner will change it.
Hey.
If you needed to.
No, it was my responsibility. I fucked up.
I mean, dude,
Controversy
sleeping-
returns.
And the guy ended up winning. You
Well,
could have
dude,
took him out.
I thought Tyreek Hill was going to play. He played in the game. He got hurt. He's the only question.
But I'm saying you win that week, right? Bronson's not in the playoffs.
No,
Yeah, I mean, he
would lose.
Dude, you're talking about like the butterfly effect and shit, which
Yeah.
you don't know that.
No,
he
but
could have lost.
we clearly do
He
because
could have fucking lost in another round or
I
whatever.
mean, like, again, I thought Tyreek Hill, it's Tyreek Hill.
I get you. I will give a shout out to Bronson.
Yeah,
winner of
congrats to
3
him.
penis wine.
Congrats.
yeah, he was on one of our podcasts, Bronson. Love you, brother. I'm glad you got the win with these idiots. So I understand.
Give me the assist.
He will definitely be back on with Blake, so that's dope. But
Blake.
as we're talking about football, we're coming to the last week here. Even though there's not really anything going on here, this is like the perfect time, I would say, to reassess the state of the Bears, state of the Packers. And Bobby, why don't you start by giving us your kind of take of like where the Packers are right now, and then what do they need to do, you think, in like the next offseason?
All right, for our 8 people that subscribe to this,
Hey, we got 1 million fans. They just don't know it yet.
right, exactly. They're gonna come through later, but to the ones actually watching, I had very low expectations, and I said that very earnestly in a lot of different podcasts that I didn't expect them to get 6 wins. Mm-hmm. They have since surprised me. Now, there was a lull in the season where Jordan Love just could not figure it out. Since then, it seems he's starting to slow the game down mentally for him. I think that he's starting to make better, just better execution. He's seeing his targets rather than being, Mr. Freshman staring at one person and then throwing to said person. Mm-hmm. Safeties pick up on that. If you're acting, like college ball, they're going to be able to, dismantle you. But he was doing better. We had Aaron Jones come back. I love seeing that. So we have a more complete team. We're not that great, but I'm happy to see how we're finishing. We have a playoff hunt, right? I mean, we're not going to do anything once we're there, but if we make it, that'd be great.
Yeah, I think the Packers, it's like 50-50 right now, right? It's pretty much like win and then
we need to beat the Bears this Sunday.
Win and in. I mean, I think the Packers have showed at least growth in terms of like Jordan Love. In the terms of like there have been, like you said, some times where he's picking out the right pass, not staring down receivers. That's a huge thing for you because you guys are looking for, hey, is Jordan Love the guy at this point? Is he not?
Right.
So, you're right at that stage of like, I think he made a good argument to give him another year, another 2. I don't know what
I
his
think so
contract
too
is.
because I was, I'll say it. I was a hater out of the gate and hate. But he's really starting to show signs of improvement and actually doing, veteran, QB thing. So I'm excited, but I'm a little nervous going into this game because we had Reed who exited early from the previous week, possible injury. Watson on injury, possible injury. So it's like, where did our receiver core go? Because all we have is Romeo Doubs. Dubs, yeah. I'm a little nervous. I hope that we get some healthy wide receivers going into this game because if we become one-dimensional, guess what? The Bears are a good defense. They will beat us on the run game if we try to press them.
I'm glad that you brought up.
I'll admit
Bears.
to it.
Well, you have to because they're playing this week. We'll throw in probably a couple.
We're gonna throw some. Oh yeah,
head-to-head
absolutely.
bets for sure.
Monopoly money. Absolutely.
Monopoly money there. But I will go to Ryan here as I'm pulling up some Woj's wagers though. I like to throw it on basketball every now and then.
All right.
But Ryan, talk about you made a good point when we were chatting before about Justin Fields and what you kind of think of his evaluation.
Yeah. Well, like as far as what it means, or what do you mean? Like,
it's your opinion. What do you think of him? What is he? Where is he going? Is he going anywhere?
I mean,
that says it right there.
I'm a little conflicted. Like it's like because like he's
Be honest. We heard you on the balcony.
Well, he's very athletic and like that's nice, but his passing is not what I would like it to be. Or ability to read the.
You're not sold on him, and you'd rather.
I'd rather have Caleb Williams.
Thank
Yeah,
you. There it is.
We have the number 1 pick, and
you don't want Marvin Harrison Jr.
I would like him. I would say if we're gonna keep Fields, I would like to know that we have Marvin Harrison Jr. But I don't know how you could guarantee that. Unless you traded for like the 2nd pick, they only traded back for that. I don't know.
Okay, so we're gonna have the 1st and the 11th or so.
Right.
If we lose, I think 10th, and then if we lose to the Packers, we probably will get like 8 or 9.
He's gonna go top 5.
Maybe 9. Yeah. So that's the thing is that Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison will not be there when you get to the Bears' 2nd pick. I do not see them trying to trade up because. Marvin Harrison
traded up to get Trubisky, so maybe.
Well, that was a bad.
Let that be on record. And I know Woj's brother's watching. He's not good. I have no idea why you guys selected him. All right.
He won a bet when he bet on
Mason
Trubisky.
Rudolph played better.
What was
than
it like?
him.
Getting more than 50 yards passing?
It was like 150,
Yeah,
10 yards rush.
I would give you the over for something like that. Are you kidding me? No, he's not
Survived
good. He's never
one
been
game.
good.
Mason Rudolph played way better than him.
And I'd rather have Orton. I think Orton's better than Trubisky.
Oh yeah.
Interesting. So I mean, I will definitely agree with you a little bit on the fact that like Fields has done a good job to make an argument of like, hey, I should be kept. Some guy said, I don't fucking remember who, an analyst
this podcast
was like, no, some guy in the street. I just talked to Joe Schmo at some analyst, the guy was saying like, oh well, Justin Fields is going to command $25 million a year, and I'm like. Really?
$25 million a year?
I don't think he earned $25 million a year.
I mean, is he going to be parking cars too?
Well, no, this is ridiculous.
That's the thing. That's part of my reasoning why I'm wanting to get Caleb Williams. You got him on the rookie deal. It's way cheaper, and you can get better pieces to put around him for the team, whatever that will be.
I mean, I think you also need to, like, I wouldn't be mad if the Bears got an offensive lineman if their pick dropped to, like, 11th. I don't really know the offensive line.
You guys could use a little help there on the O-line.
Definitely the O-line. Justin Fields is running for his life again. This is my thing, is that I haven't watched Caleb Williams nearly enough. I also like this Martin Penis guy or whatever his name is. That
Excuse me?
It's like Penis name from Washington, I think. Yeah, Washington.
Yeah, no, that's not it, but I don't know it. It can't be that.
I swear his name is Penis.
Or maybe our producer will check that out. Maybe
Martin
Google
Penis.
I have no idea.
Martin Penis,
I'm not
future
touching
Chicago
this
Bear.
Dirk Diggler and
There are 2 words I'm not typing into my phone.
Martin
Football
Penis.
penis.
Chess Rockwell.
Then you get Martin Sheen's penis. Okay, so moving on.
Hey.
What's up?
I don't get an opinion?
No, I was
Motherfuck.
Oh, this guy.
I was gonna
let's
say
throw it to
moving
Aaron.
on to you.
No
Oh.
respect. No respect.
You just cut me off, man. Where's the
Let me tell you what I think.
This is brought to you by.
As your champion, I demand another beverage. So whenever you get a
Dude,
chance.
that has
Wow.
no bearing in this house. You'll be
Bobby's
you'll be very,
cup runneth dry.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna be very thirsty if you think I'm gonna get you a beer.
Bobby, I'll take care of you in a little bit. It's not that. It's just more of a producer who's
the
supposed to get shit done.
insolence from our
So,
host.
Here's my thought. I think the Bears, it's right now, I'm experiencing a lot of disappointment. There's a lot of false flags out there from
Thank you.
the
False flags. I
last
love
couple
it.
games because there are moments of sheer brilliance, but you have to take into account the teams you're playing.
That's what I was going to say.
And if you look good playing a high school football team, I hope you look good playing a high school football team.
Exactly.
I'm thoroughly disappointed that Eberflus is going to be around again.
Yeah, I want to get.
Go ahead.
I want to get Harbaugh.
It's not going to happen.
But that'd be sick.
Being
He's
realistic, it's not going to happen.
Stop.
But-
I don't like anybody who thinks that Harbaugh is going to come to the Chicago Bears.
Why
no,
not?
It's not
because
going
he's-
to happen.
Because
said
he's
it-
not going to be allowed to do what he needs to do, and he's not going to sign a contract.
Okay, there's
for it.
2 things. He's already said that he's not going to the NFL, especially not the Bears. Like he never said, especially
And
not the
didn't
Bears.
Michigan just beat Bama? Like that
But-
solidified his
Didn't he have
career.
that whole thing with they got in trouble for or whatever?
Yes, but he
It's-
didn't get. He
and
only
they
got a slap
still
on the
won.
wrist. So, dude, the second part though is that college is so much of a better sweet deal. Like college
yeah.
coaches are praised
Feast or
so
famine,
much higher.
Yeah.
You get a little bit more slack, especially
Lower
if you're in
bar.
like a Big Ten, or wherever the fuck they are
I mean,
at now.
that's true, but he's a competitive guy, and he did get to Super Bowl. He didn't win the Super Bowl, so maybe doing it with the team that drafted you.
I'm just
could be
gonna say you and the
enticing.
Chicago fans that think that are living like in a fever
I don't
dream of like
necessarily-
Well,
Well,
it's a
it's-
fantasy world.
I didn't.
Right.
I didn't say it was going to happen. I said I'd like it.
You know
to
what?
happen.
2 items I do want to discuss. He was recently at the Bears Atlanta game. That I want him to get his experience from that because they just trounced Atlanta. And then I want to talk about the Florida State thinking, "Oh, we deserve to be in."
Yeah,
and
hold
then
on.
they
We'll-
get-
we'll-
did that.
we will get to that in just a second. Ryan and I talked.
I know you
touched
guys
on
talked
it a
about
little
it a little bit on yours, but
Well-
the outcome of that game.
Right, we'll get it.
Right.
Let's finish though on the Bears though in terms of like
Aaron is-
where do you think should they keep Fields? I guess is
So
my
here's the thing. Fields has grown on me. I see a lot of potential. Hold on. Let me finish.
All right. Yep. Go
Okay.
ahead.
I see a lot of potential in him as a player. I don't see him as a quarterback carrying a team. Certainly not at this point in his career. He's got a lot of work to do. He's got a lot of work to see. He's looking phenomenal again when we play that lower caliber of team when he should look phenomenal.
I'm going to call that the Dallas Cowboy effect. Go ahead.
Well, but when the defensive line is tripping over themselves, yeah, you're probably going to be able to get away. And I will say a lot of great decisions I've seen in the last few games. All of that being said, he doesn't have the thing that you need for a quarterback, and there's a very specific concoction of skills and brain power you need to be a Bears quarterback, just because of all the other shortcomings that there are and all the other things that you need to be able to predict.
Yeah.
I think what's lost in the ether right now is that decisions have been made, so we know what next year is going to look like. I think there's a lot of confidence being placed in people who just happen to look good on a couple days. When if there were if we had more losses right now, Eberflus would be gone, and Fields would most likely be gone.
so you're basically thinking
don't-
this is the end of their rope, but they're still holding on
I don't
because they're
think-
showing some type of progress.
Go ahead. Answer that question. Sorry.
Well, I think it's like anything else in life. If somebody tells you like, hey, you're going to probably get fired, you're going to start showing up on time, and you're going to start probably
Right.
doing a
Okay.
little
That's
bit
what
better
I'm saying.
work.
That type of effect.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
I just think that
Desperation.
You cannot close the door, just like you kind of touched on it there. Like you don't really know like what NFL teams are planning on doing. You can see like logically, oh, you should make this move if you need this position or you need a coach or whatever. I just think that there's always such a weird just lack of knowledge that you have of like, oh, you should logically keep this guy, and then you see them trading him for like a 4th round pick or something like that.
And
So I'm just saying that I think Eberflus, his job has not been saved by the last games in any sense. Even if you're blown out teams, you're looking good. We were there
yeah,
at the New Year's Eve game. And
Right.
It was
I've never
good
seen a
it
game
was
with
good
so many
football.
injuries.
I'm sorry, what?
I've never seen a game with so many injuries.
Yeah, a lot of.
Every
Joe
time I
was
look
there
to say
too.
something to you,
Was he with you guys?
Joe was also there. Shout out Joe.
Yeah, Joe's on the podcast. Joe.
Yeah, dude, that was a good time. I didn't film any footage. I still gotta edit that stuff. I gotta put that up.
No,
on
all
the-
good. But just tell me about your experience because you guys, like, as a Bears fan, you guys trounced them. I would be totally talking
But
mad
it-
shit to every
it
opposing.
wasn't that. That's my thing. Is it wasn't a trouncing.
It
That
It
game
really was though.
That game was so much
You guys
closer than
on
it should have been, Bobby.
Second half a little bit concerning, but you guys owned the flow of the game. You guys were putting up numbers. I don't think you hit 35 all year, and you did that game. So
They did it against Washington when like Justin Fields has 4
Atlanta's not
touchdowns.
that good though.
So this is what I would say though is
That's
that
what I'm saying. It shouldn't have been that close.
Yeah.
they came back in the second half, which I wasn't expecting.
there is this thing though that continually happens at Bears games, which we saw on Sunday, was just like the time of the game where you need to keep scoring points. Like you have a 14 point lead, 20 point lead. Some teams do
Just
it
keep
very
going.
well. The Bears are awful at it. It lets teams in. If it's a better team, they're getting smoked in second half comebacks. But I'm just saying that the experience of the game, you didn't really feel like the Bears like were going to win the game at every single point.
And
it's
so
just not that feel.
I just want to add on to this, and we're spending a little extra time on this, but I kind of want to round it out with this.
Sure.
Having watched Bears games for a very long time,
You got your first win though.
it was the first win that I've gone to at a home game, which
Applause.
is really saying something because I've actually been to a good number of home games of late, and didn't see a win until that Sunday.
Go Bears.
But this is my point, is that for years, and I'm talking about going back to 2006, a Bears game is something where you can watch the first quarter, watch the first half. They'll be up by 30-plus points. You go do something after halftime, and you come back to watch the fourth quarter, and they're losing.
Yeah.
And you're going, what happened?
That
And
happened this
is
year.
that is not something that has changed at all. It's been the same damn thing for decades. And that's a systematic failure. A systemic failure that is not going to be solved by continuing to have coaches come back and come back and come back.
Yeah, you need stability is what you're talking about. You need consistency.
It's not stability. You need the right people and the right people in the right positions. And for some reason, we just always cough up the ball on that one.
Well, I mean, you can look
Anyway.
at you can look at the Bears having a lot of quarterbacks. They also have had a shitload of coaches. And
I know.
Some other
I know.
teams like Pittsburgh has got Tomlin for 17 years or some shit like
And-
that.
and I
Unpopular
guess-
opinion: you guys never had a great quarterback.
And that's not. I
Well,
agree with it. Not really great.
But
You've had a managing quarterback.
Good.
well,
not
and
great.
that's that. Honestly, that's my point. Is that's what you need? You need a manager. But just to
Yeah,
come
they
back to
don't
the
even have
coaches, is that if you look at our bar for firing people, firing coaches, firing decent coaches over the years, we're well under that.
Yeah.
And we're just, again, still coming to that tolerance there. And the really weird part about it is that the Bears keep on making money because you have season ticket holders and all this other stuff going on for people who are diehard fans to come and watch losses.
So fucking expensive, dude.
Anyway, I say we probably move on from this because we
Right.
can keep on shoveling dirt on this grave
this
for
is,
years.
Shoveling
Yeah.
dirt on this grave.
This is the part though
Excellent
of
analogy.
the year though where again like we're really getting to the end, and then honestly though after really next week because we're gonna do like a little recap. I got some stuff planned for that.
Okay.
End of the season, can't hold anything back.
Yeah. Man.
Shut
Bold
up,
move there,
shut up,
Cotton.
Brent.
Brem Husberger, yeah. But I will just say that the end of the year kind of wrap up, get that going. You talk about the Bears, and then we're not going to talk about the Bears Packers. I would say for a good while. We've kind of exhausted this out. So Bobby, I'm going to throw it over to you
All right.
because again, this has been the Bobby segment.
As it should be.
I'm just going to run through my Wojers wages real quick. A little.
Yeah, do your wagers, but I want people to understand the depth and the difficulty of this. It's just
Yep. I think we
it's
got
unfounded. It's unfounded.
All right,
It's-
I got.
If
it's
you
like
know someone who
discovering
has
the Ark of
problems
the
with
Covenant
gambling.
in fantasy football.
Okay.
So
All right. Indiana Jones.
All right, Vince McMahon.
All right. Stephen Curry to get 3 plus 3-pointers. Nikola Jokic over 12.5 boards. Porter to get 3 threes. T. Jackson Davis over 6.5 boards, and Steph Curry to get 5 assists. Pretty run of the mill kind of whatever. I just threw some down because I won a bet before, so I was like, fuck
hey,
it.
why not? Roll Tide.
So, all right, Bob, we got a couple more minutes here, man. I'll give you either the choice of, you want to throw out another topic. We got to be kind of quick on it.
Well,
or if you just want to give your final conclusions. I don't know. What's up, Brian? What were you going to say?
Well, I didn't know if we want to discuss that Lions controversial.
yeah, can we? Yeah, let's dial in a
All right,
little
let's
bit.
run through it real
Cowboys
quick.
play.
Yeah, unheard of. I hope people get fired. I mean, it is absolutely stealing a game. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was insane. Like The video clearly showed Jared Goff telling him to check in, and then him walking over
Checking
to check in, and then the ref just ignored him. He just bolted the other way, and then. But also,
Yeah,
I gotta say though, side note, that sucks they got screwed. But after that happens, kick the extra point. Don't go for it 2 more times.
I agree.
Momentum is not on your side at that point. You're like you're not.
You're right. The wind is now out of your sails. Let's bring this to OT.
And now they already knew your trick play, so it's like you think you just gotta go to OT.
Yeah, no, I think there was a couple different things of I looked at it as well of I'm watching the game on the phone. I'm like, why aren't you kick the point, go to OT? You scored a touchdown to get tied. You have the momentum, and then that I didn't see it when it happened in real time. But I just think that you're absolutely right, Bobby. I'm like, dude, get this guy out. If you can't fucking get that call right, that literally loses the team a game. You gotta go. You gotta get demoted.
Now, keep in mind, Detroit had. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Detroit was going to the playoffs regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So it did have maybe some implications for San Fran for the NFC or whatever. Them not getting the win. Mm-hmm. But I think 2 things happened that week, and I'll be quick on this. We saw that Dallas is not quite exactly what you would expect, and then I think Philly. I know we're not talking about the Philly game, but Philly. Goodbye. They're not going to go anywhere in the NFC playoffs.
All right, Bobby. So we got.
All I was going to say is it reminds me of Rat Race, where he messes up the call on the coin toss.
Oh yeah, that's a good.
Everybody hates him.
All right,
Great
Bob,
movie. Great.
So again, congrats on the achievement. I'll give you a cheers here, my man. There you go. You don't have a beer, but whatever.
Yeah, no one refilled
take us out, man.
I appreciate everyone, watching in. We've had quite a journey. I hope you join us on our next journey.
Coming soon to a YouTube viewing near you, the Fantasy Football Journeyman's review of 2005 Kingdom of Heaven, the director's cut from Sir Ridley Scott. Coming at you right now.
Love the intro. Love it. We're doing Ridley Scott's Kingdom of Heaven. I got the director's cut. I think our other panelists, they saw at least maybe the regular movie, possibly director's cut.
I did not see the director's cut, but I'm sure it's
Okay.
fine.
I watched the director's cut.
Now, director's cut, just for you, Woj, if you didn't see it, it develops the characters a little bit more. There's some other scenes that were added, and believe it or not, there's actually intermission breaks, within it, which I found that to be kind of cool because it kind of gives you more of that theater feel.
Would you like me to give some background on the
give us a
film?
little background on the film, and then we'll go into different topics and different discussion points.
All right, as I said, it's starring, it's directed by Ridley Scott. Famous films he's done would be like Alien, Blade Runner, Thelma and Louise, Gladiator, Black Hawk Down, American Gangster, Prometheus, The Martian, Alien Covenant, Napoleon, and Gladiator 2 coming out this year.
Really? Okay, great. Looking forward to that.
Starring Orlando Bloom, Eva Green, Jeremy Irons, David Thewlis, Brendan Gleeson, Martin Sakis,
Edward Norton, too.
That's fine.
Edward Norton,
Liam Neeson.
Michael Sheen, and Liam Neeson.
Yeah. We got a great cast of characters there. Orlando Bloom playing the protagonist, if you will, or anti-hero, if you want to go that route. Liam Neeson being kind of that guiding source. And then we have a few other characters like Guy, I forget the actor.
Martin Sakis.
And then you have Jeremy Irons, who's like the mind
Tiberius.
Tiberius, who's the mind of reason. He's trying to keep what little piece they have in this area together. But one of these questions or topics that I want to dive into right away is what did you think won the movie? I like that. What could be a character, could be a scene, could be maybe a dialogue. Doesn't matter. What won the movie and what could have been better? What could have been improved? So let's kick it over to Ryan first.
Okay, well, I want.
That's like it's gonna talk for like 80
No,
minutes.
I just want to say normally this type of movie is not my personal type of movie.
That's fair.
I don't usually do epics. It's
Okay.
not, and
Yeah, this is more of a historic epic. There is
So,
some level of accuracy for
With
history.
that being said, I watched it. Obviously, I watched the director's cut. I would say I think the thing it did best for me, outside of Ridley Scott's beautiful cinematography and shots, would be the battle scenes. Anytime there was a battle scene, I was into it. The blood and the
I agree. Great battle scenes for sure.
that was always my favorites. The parts I didn't like so much, besides I guess the length of the movie.
Wait, hold on. He's asking for who
He
won
said
the
who
movie.
won it, but also where could you where could you see an improvement?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
For me, it's a little long. The director's cut was like 3 hours.
3 hours, like what?
And
15
Can you just really quick add in what was what was additional? Was it just extension of scenes, or was there a
It was
whole
45 extra minutes.
But was it a whole new scene?
Yeah, there were
that,
some scenes that weren't in yours. Like at the end, Guy fights Orlando Bloom's
Yes,
character.
correct. Yep.
And Orlando Bloom's character spares him.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
And then there was just some other, I think, relationships.
Development of the characters and how they tie up. Yep.
The priest in the beginning is shown to be his brother, her half brother or something.
Martin
Brother,
Sheen?
Yeah,
Not
and-
Martin Sheen.
Yeah, Michael Sheen.
Michael Sheen. Sorry.
And I don't think that was in your version.
No, it was not.
So that made it make more
Yo,
sense.
he was gutted right away. That was
Yeah.
a sick kill right off the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the directors though, you kind of get a better understanding, and they actually used the payment of silver. So if anyone here is a Bible thumper, they use the payment of silver towards his brother-in-law or brother in the seat, and lo and behold, he has the same demise. Ends up.
I guess my picky nit thing with the movie would be I understand why. So they asked Orlando Bloom, Edward Norton, who's the dying king, right? He has
Baldwin, yeah,
leprosy.
the leper. Baldwin the leper.
He asks him and Jeremy Irons come to him and they ask him to marry his sister Eva Green,
Right.
and he says no, but he's already sleeping with her. Why didn't he just marry her? He's like, no, and they're like, we'll kill him for you. We'll execute the guy. You'll be the king, and you'll be with her, and you'll be married, and it'll be great. And he's like,
Right.
no, I can't. But you're already sleeping with her. What's the? I don't
Okay,
understand why.
okay.
Why wouldn't you just
Take the next step.
You've already
I gotcha,
crossed
yeah.
the line,
Right.
So I don't know.
He's really committed to why buy the cow.
Yeah,
So then who won the movie?
I said the battle scenes. The battle
The battle
scenes.
scenes won the movie.
For me.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
sorry.
Wasn't a specific person. That's right.
Just all the battle scenes were all every time there was a battle scene, it was really bloody.
Right.
In our version too, it's even more bloody. The director's cut,
Oh,
it's
interesting.
blood
And the
spraying out,
and the siege on.
I don't know if yours had people's heads getting chopped off.
Yeah,
there
there's
was
a couple.
multiple heads getting chopped off.
Two tree.
Brendan Gleeson in particular.
Yeah, you got fucked up.
or the tack hammer in the
Oh
forest
man, yeah,
to
Liam
the back of
Neeson
the
with
head.
that guy. That was
Yeah.
sick.
It
Also,
was-
how did he survive for so long with the arrow to the?
Okay, so
that was crazy.
All right, fair point. Now, what for you? What needs improvements? Because what one you said the battle scene is also.
No, he said it. I just thought that was dope.
What would you think?
What won the movie?
Or who? It could be a person.
Could be a dialogue. Could be a scene.
The villains in it were pretty dope.
Guy
I'll say that they're
and,
Guy and then Repartee or whoever Brendan Gleeson's character
I
was.
didn't know his name.
He was a kind of an asshole that got killed. The villains were dope, and they had. This is what won the movie. It was absolutely the cast. I mean, there was so many good actors in it that it was a great movie from that standpoint. Everybody played a very good role. I'm just gonna throw it out there. My personal opinion. I didn't like it, and I don't really know what could have been improved in it because it's so heavily based. The story is based in religious, ideology, and then
Yes.
this is kind of based off of this and this. I'm out completely on that side of it because it doesn't interest me.
That's what I was trying to say. To me, this is not my type of movie. Normally, I would not watch it. So, I didn't enjoy it as much
Historical
as
epics, I
Bobby
get.
would.
Okay.
No, but okay. To that point,
but-
300. Do you guys like 300?
No.
Okay, I was just curious on. Okay, go ahead.
Not particularly.
I was gonna say, but for the movie, despite that, it's very well made. Ridley Scott is a great director. It's very well cast and well shot. So it's kind of a conflicted for me to give a grade would be an odd thing because it's a very well done movie, but at the same time, it's not my type of movie.
Okay, but at
subject
the end,
matter-
we'll give a grading as
No,
we
I'm
did
just
before.
saying.
So
Yeah.
why don't I'm interested to hear what you then think though of the who won it and then what could you improve?
Oh, and also, Bobby, what do you think of the director's cut as compared to the normal cut? Because this is your first time.
I've seen
right?
both. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
The director's cut with the additional scenes helped me understand relationships better. It helped me understand different depths, different scenes that kind of enriched the overall story. So that's just my own take. But who won it? You know what? I really feel it, although he's only on camera just briefly, was Edward Norton's portrayal of Baldwin the Leper and the chess game between him and Orlando Bloom, explaining, call it a moral, ethical, discussion about, what you're capable of, what moves you, and, who you're responsible to. All right, hands are going up. Go ahead.
Why in the shit is the leper the king? Did I miss something in that?
I think it's just like family.
That's a historical thing.
Yeah.
So his father's father, conquered.
The bloodlines.
Even if you have half of a hand.
Yeah.
Being a leper doesn't
Clearly,
make you less of a
clearly you haven't
person.
watched the Game of Thrones.
No,
House of
I
the
really got to
Dragon.
get into it.
Game of Thrones, great
I've heard
series.
great
See,
things.
that's
but
that's why I
even
don't watch
still-
it. It's not my thing. That's
All right, but
I like
great
Game
series,
of,
but there's a few seasons.
Let's keep it
All
to
right,
the Kingdom of Heaven, though. So
my next topic or question, it was, I guess, what came out to you as an underlying theme? If you had to apply a theme throughout the movie that you saw outside of just the biblical, like historical, progression of Saladin, and Bald, what underlying theme basically came to the surface for you guys?
I'll say the only one that comes to mind would be for Orlando Bloom's character and his the oath he took or sworn to.
Yeah, the Knights Templar.
Where basically to do good and whatever,
Protect the
no
hopeless.
no matter
Even
what,
if it means your life.
protecting the people, no matter the cost, and whatever he has to do to protect Jerusalem, right?
Jerusalem.
Yeah. To protect the town and the people in it, he'll do, and that's what I thought.
Okay.
the underlying theme that I had, which was like just kind of the villainous kind of like goal, was like just to induce war, which I thought was very odd, with like these guys being like
So self-interest,
like
essentially.
we want to kill it. Like you see, like I forget the guy's name, but Brendan Gleeson's character just like straight up is like, we're gonna go kill those guys over there
And
to like
create a reason why,
perpetuate
yeah.
a war.
Perpetuate.
And I was like, that's wild. And then you
Well-
see in like the forum though that they're like, this one guy's like, we must go to war.
So
and
Yeah,
everyone's
Christ
like,
wills
fuck
it. Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, you're kind of all skating around the one of the big things it's trying to depict is the Crusades and how
Right.
To
It's
the
1184.
to the
That's
people
the time
involved,
frame of this.
to the people involved, it's like, hey, Jesus wants us to go over there and kill all those guys.
Can't
And
we
it's
all
cool.
just get along?
It's cool because God wills it.
Oh, that's right.
And-
That was
and-
used a lot.
And it's interesting that you bring that up because the small takeaway I was going to take is that basically the point of that movie is that if you put a cross on your chest in red and you're wearing white, you can just do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
So
at that time.
free pass essentially for
was-
any
Well,
type of moral, ethical issues that
and
normal people would face.
More of like what are you doing? It's like I'm a fucking crusader, man. Oh, it's cool. Don't.
And when you
continue.
die, they give you the last rites. All your sins are forgiven too, so you could literally do anything.
Yeah,
in that.
Godfrey, dude, he killed so many. He was like, this man is a murderer. He's like, so am I. And then like he says
That's
something.
Liam Neeson, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Liam Neeson
Godfrey,
is
yeah.
Godfrey, which
And then he says something though to the effect of like, you will leave here also murdered, like to the guy who's trying to take his son.
That scene was awesome. Like I got the arrow through his throat in the tree or whatever.
Dude,
his eye.
great
That was
great
sick.
opening battle scene where I'm like, oh shit, this is going. So that kept me in it. The battle scenes.
if you guys know what
Agreed,
Godfrey means, though, his name, you guys could post in the comments, or I'd be curious if you guys actually know the translation of what
I saw this in The Rock, Goodspeed.
Goodspeed. Yeah, Godspeed is something
Godspeed,
different.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but no, Godfrey. I know what it is, but we'll put it in the comments if you guys want to take a guess.
Okay.
Certain names have actual literal translations. So
I would assume it's heavily religious. So
Yep.
what was what did we just answer that or?
yeah, we did.
Can
Sorry,
I
go ahead.
throw something out there that's interesting, and this might be a conclusive point to put at the top, but an interesting perspective, and like I really like Ridley Scott's films. I think Ridley Scott is one of those directors who, when he's cutting stuff, he's literally leaving story and plot on the floor. Where not every director is like that, and not every script is like that. So many of the movies, there's like,
notes out.
oh, well, that makes a lot more sense now with this in context, and yeah, it could have been cut, but it adds so much to the movie when you put it in.
To echo what you said, Aaron, he's known for his director's cuts. He has 11 different movies
Mm-hmm.
with director's cuts.
I mean, and they're almost completely different movies when you watch them.
Like Blade Runner has like 5.
Love
The,
Blade
the,
Runner.
the one that always comes to mind to me is Aliens, because it's a very different film in that you are more invested in The Colonists.
Giving him a high five.
When you watch that one. But digressing back to this, one of the things I would say, it's interesting in the modern world of series, of things being produced on HBO and all the different streaming platforms and kind of the free reign they have to make the films that they can, is it does spoil films like this when you compare it to the modern era. You got Game of Thrones, which has a series and an arc and a lot of hours to make the film, and because of that, they can do their pacing differently. And with this
it's also
film,
a series of 10. I mean,
I understand it's a little bit of apples to oranges, but it does kind of spoil things because in this you have to get whatever
you have to pack in a huge storyline into
and whatever
2.5 hours
expository things you're trying to get out there. It is going to be in a long, drawn out scene with great actors talking a lot, in which your average moviegoer is going to tune out, which you don't really get in that episodic serial that we're watching to, and I put the direct comparison to Game of Thrones.
I'm going to ask a question at a later date.
Fire away.
It should, no, it's more about just movie-going experience, but I'll hold that for kind of later in the thing.
I only got
Let's
a few
get back
other
to
topics,
the,
though. Only a few other topics is I want to mention the scene. We're all aware of the scene. Baldwin the leper eventually dies. He has, the silver mask on, and he reveals his true, form behind that mask. That was really powerful. My question to the panelist here is, was the queen to be showing her son, who was diagnosed with leprosy in that one scene, showing him mercy by basically killing him, or do you find that completely like a horrible act? Because obviously she saw what is to become of him. Do you see that as more of an act of mercy or something that's unforgivable?
Well, okay, I'm gonna start first. Is that one just completely different time where things were.
This is
like
1184.
Murder is considered like a next step. Like, he's got a broken leg. He's got to be murdered.
Medieval HR. Oh, you have a complaint? Let's go to next steps.
Right. So there is that part of it. The other part, though, is that you're talking about like compassion of like seeing the future, seeing how hard it's going to be. The part that I have a little bit of difficulty with is that like now that we have such like modern medicine advancements, like I'm curious as to like, okay, hey, like I said, like for example, I got a broken leg. They might think that like you're dead, like you're done. We got to kill you. We got to chop the leg off or whatever. Whereas now you're just like, hey, you don't put it up and it'll heal itself.
That was
they just don't know that.
That was kind of my takeaway from the big mask reveal. It was like, damn, that guy's got leprosy and cleft palate. What a fucking life.
Wasn't getting to surgery in 1184, but that's just my thing of like.
I know this is kind of controversial. I'm just curious. Was it more of a compassion or more of like, that was pretty wrong on you? That was your son.
I just think that it's a thing that was done in the times, and
so
you can justify it however you want.
Okay, justified. I get it.
Yeah,
I think it was compassionate, although it was a little odd because she knows now that bad guy Guy is going to become the king. Right, basically, like once that happens.
Yeah, because the wedding proposal or wedding arrangement never happened between.
Right,
yep.
maybe keep the kid around a few more years, and then if the leprosy gets worse, poison him. Then you got time. I don't know, like.
Let him grow on you first.
Maybe see. I think because maybe your kingdom and whatever, if your people would have been okay, but no, you had to let Guy take over, and then he brought him to war.
I mean, at that point, you're just hoping you're begging that the kid's an asshole. It's like, come on,
also,
make it worth it.
I have a question.
He's got leprosy. Kill him.
How did they know he had leprosy? I know they were doing that.
So leprosy
that
in
foot
itself,
thing with the ink
needle.
or what?
So the loss of sensation of pain or anything.
Oh, okay. So when he got the hot ink on him, he didn't feel it.
That was the indicator. And then when they gave him a few pokes on his feet when he was distracted, and there was no reaction by his body. Yeah.
Also,
turns out he didn't have leprosy. He was just a diabetic.
Dude. I don't know enough about leprosy, but does everybody end up as bad as Ed Norton's character? Or
without treatment,
can you manage?
Well, it's the lack of treatment. Then that's what eventually happens.
Yes.
Is you are getting fucked, man, because you're having a disease that is not being treated. You're getting treated with like mint leaves and fucking whatever. Yeah.
But it's necrosis essentially to your exterior. Yeah, it's horrible.
Okay.
I mean, you got the suit jacket on, so at least
I know. I sound a little bit like
a little bit more like a doctor.
My point was just like I didn't know if like it's something like maybe he just had the worst of it, and you could like live like a mild case or something, or.
No, it's not treated, so it just gets worse.
In 1184, it's a death sentence.
Like I said, I agree with that she was fine to do that, or it was a compassionate move.
Real quick, I'm going to change it up. The actor and the character of Saladin, I really thought that took it to the next level. I thought that his portrayal and just how he carried himself as a leader, as a war,
Is he the one who is the
opposite of
the Muslim, the head of the Muslims?
Exactly. Yep. Opposite of Orlando Bloom and Godfrey, and they're
But not the guy that he
no.
met.
So not the
guy,
prisoner,
not the one he befriended.
not
The one that he
befriended.
faces, that the king faces up with.
Yes. So
That they say
ruler-
like, hey,
yeah.
it's a
Okay,
truce.
so his
You go-
his number 2 is the guy he knew.
that he pardoned or he became. Like,
he gave him the horse.
Yeah, and he's like, hey,
Yeah.
I used to be. No, I'm not going to do that. So
Okay.
that's where mercy was shown on him because he lost that battle. He was
Yes.
brought to him, but Saladin was the Muslim leader at
Leader,
the time.
yeah.
I really thought the actor and how his character was developed and just every role and position, even his facial expressions, communicated such a deep story where he's like, I'm doing this because it's for my people, for my culture, but I'm not a man of violence. I'm not a man of war. I don't prefer to do that, but I'm thrusted into this position and I have to.
Okay, 2 things real quick. His name is Ghassan Masood Saladin.
Incredible portrayal.
I think he's a very good actor. Don't get me wrong here. Very like villainous, but also kind of like, again, like you said, has a story.
Very authentic.
My biggest issue with the movie, which again you can't really cure, is the fact that you got Muslims and the other Christians and all these other people. Everybody's speaking very good English. Like it's like English is their first language, and I'm just like.
So do you want this to be a period piece where people are speaking either French, Latin, or...
Unpopular opinion. I
Okay.
prefer if a movie is set in like France, it should be in French. Like unless it's the specific thing of like, hey, these are Americans in France. I get that, but like if the thing is my thing-
Buongiorno.
yeah, kind of like just movies that sometimes are just like it's gonna be much better in English. And most people will get it, but like I just like to have like if like
Okay,
it's
so
a
the
Korean
authenticity is a big thing
Right,
for you.
yeah,
Okay. Thoughts on maybe that character, maybe something that comes up to the surface, but I always thought that, or maybe a character portrayal. That
I thought
really-
he was very good. I thought he seemed very, like I said, authentic, true to the way the guy would probably be back then. Yeah, good. He seemed like a good actor.
Okay.
Like the cinematography of the true cross and like where he's like, hey, I'll send my physicians. Basically, when he spoke with Baldwin, he knew he spoke truth. He's like, all right, he's gonna dole out punishment. I don't need everyone to die today because you had 2 huge, massive armies.
Also, what you can mention about him, a very good leader.
Yes,
That's a very good leader move to sacrifice lives. This has been, you crossed the line, but you're gonna do it, and then he actually does. But
but there was a lot of honor and respect between both of those leaders, so he knew that, his word is good. And Baldwin, like I said, Ed Norton, he's I guess a really challenging actor on set for a lot of other directors but I think he really crushed it. I really love this movie. And the last one, is there any type of quote that maybe spoke to you, or a dialogue, or maybe a moment or a scene that was just like, wow, like next level?
I didn't write it down. I circled the time it was at. It was like 16:30 in. I think it was Orlando Bloom had said something about like. Again, I think it was with the oath or something. It was like, I can't.
When
remember.
when he finally received the sword and got
Might be. I
the
can't
the oath
remember.
delivered by Liam Neeson.
Yeah, it was like I'll do what I must, or like, and whatever will be done, or can't remember it exactly. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, this is why it's an open dialogue. Yeah, just thoughts on you, or do you want me to kind of do mine?
I mean, dude, I never really remember quotes.
that's
What
I got a favorite scene.
I'm just
Favorite
saying.
scene. Yeah, go ahead, knock it out.
Okay.
And I got one too. So.
Okay, I like the Liam Neeson training Orlando Bloom in the forest,
sword.
and then guy gets the arrow through the eye in the tree, and then a battle just ensues, and Liam Neeson gets an arrow to the rib cage, and he's like on the horse hammering the dude's skull in, and Orlando. Also, this is also kind
That
of
was intense. That was awesome.
Just a
And
great-
that big German dude that's
Yeah.
part of the group, he was really cool.
Did you guys question? I was like thinking their movie. How did Orlando Bloom get so good at fighting?
Two odd things that I noticed was
Did you know?
I'm going to tell you.
he's been a blacksmith in both movies.
Blacksmith.
Well, that's fine, but
It's funny.
Liam
I don't
Neeson's
know.
literally in that scene teaching him how to hold the sword high and how to fight, and then all of a sudden, like they're fighting like 5 minutes later, and he's like kicking ass. He's like doing work.
Well, no, I mean,
Quick learner.
You know what I'm saying? I know it's a movie, but
In that scene, though,
God was directing him.
And then he goes on to be the best
No,
fighter.
go ahead, Woj. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, in that scene though, man, you can definitely tell though that like he definitely they made the illusion of like they're training in the forest or whatever. I get that it's a quick jump, but also in kind of like movie time, you have to kind of expect that like along the ways they've also been training because this wasn't their like first stop of like.
But he just went on the trail with them. He literally found them, and he's like, "Come with us." And then they're like, "This is the first time he picked up a sword." They made it seem like where he's like, "Hold it high. Why are you doing it?"
I think
low?"
yes, it's his first time sparring.
Am I wrong? I don't know.
Or parrying, whatever.
No. But he being a blacksmith, you have to have some level of skill, I'd imagine, with any type of weapon you create, regardless of how rudimentary it is.
The feel is there of like you're wielding the sword to do whatever, and then when you get
I think
done,
the transition would be quick.
Did I miss something where his character was like in some past wars or something, and then he became a blacksmith, and now he's like,
no,
I don't believe so. But like, call it maybe on the job training or exposure, but. For me, I really didn't go over this too much. I know we only have a few moments, but Mori Memento, it's a Latin thing of death is certain. So that was one of those quotes where the scene where Orlando Bloom's speaking to the one older Knights Templar who's about to walk off in the desert to certain death. So, but being comfortable with that fact, being just acknowledging it. He's like, you're going out there and you're going to die. He's like, yeah. Like it didn't, water on a duck, and that has, I think that speaks volumes about maybe the time that they were in and the expectation. So I think that really floored me. I was like, oh my god, and like he just like, oh, on my way.
what were your guys' favorite scenes?
The siege, Saladin sieging Jerusalem.
Like the final 30
scene,
minutes or like 40 minutes or whatever.
Yes, that like I said, cinematography for it, as well as actual tacticalness of it, like. He had his markers out there with white paint, and it showed his level, at least of somewhat expertise as a field general, if you will, to being prepared for a battle you're about to lose.
That was cool, and they also when they dumped the gasoline on him, lit him on fire at the wall.
So the siege machines, enduring the battle as best he can with tactics that were well above his probably knowledge base. So that was really cool. I enjoyed it though.
Yeah, I definitely most of the battle scenes I think were again like. Being pretty gruesome actually ends up working better because I just feel
type of film, yeah.
It does add some things of like to the gore of the time of just like you're getting chopped with a sword.
Broadsword.
Well, that's kind of how I always feel about these types of movies or shows like Game of Thrones. Like, it's not really my thing, but the things that I do like about it is always the fighting stuff. Like, that's always always sick.
The end seemed this is what I would also draw comparisons to, which is why again the battle scenes really are very visually exciting to me. Is that they do kind of parallel Lord of the Rings battle scenes when they do show like the wide landscape
angle,
of like here is 200,000 guys ready to go to battle,
horizon,
and then
down.
It did kind of like look a little bit like Helm's Deep. When they looked at it, either Helm's Deep or the other protective thing in the third one.
So, Bobby, is this your favorite Ridley Scott movie?
Oh, that's right, Ministeri.
This is your favorite Ridley Scott movie?
I want to say it probably is, but a lot of his, call it close seconds because he doesn't put out movies that all of his are just slam dunks. So I really enjoy this one.
I think he's hit and miss.
You think he's hit it? I guess
sure,
for me, I'd take more favorable.
I got a list if you want.
You're going to tell me Prometheus was up there as a hit?
No, okay.
I like Prometheus.
Yeah,
that's not my question,
okay.
Ryan.
No, Prometheus is okay. I really enjoy different aspects of the movie, but yeah, Kingdom of Heaven for me is probably one of my top ones for me.
Okay.
My favorite Ridley Scott movie is by far Alien.
I
love
Alien. Okay,
I like Alien.
I got to go Aliens.
Well, that's actually James Cameron.
Oh, that's right.
Ooh.
Shit.
Ooh, James Cameron.
Both are fucking awesome, by the way.
Yeah, we only have we have another minute or so, but
Shots fired.
any
Hold
last thoughts? any?
I got to go find my
takes
dignity
from our producer.
Yeah.
I mean,
Aaron,
are we going to give a grade on it?
Yeah, let's give a quick grading. For across the group, use like 8.9. Like use that as a
right.
point something.
Should I go first?
Yeah, go for it.
I'll go with a 6.2. Just
I
wasn't
had
my
this-
bag,
That's fine,
baby.
man. That's fine.
I had
my bag.
about the same score. I was gonna say 6.2 to 6.4, somewhere in there. For me, it's like, again, like if we're talking about quality of the filmmaking and the acting, it's like up there. But as far as my interest in the subject matter and the dialogue, it's down there, so it's kind of like I'm splitting.
So yeah, it's like forcing you to get interested in something you're not.
Right.
For me, it was more of like I think it came out with like an 8.9. I don't think it is on the 9 scale yet, but man, the cinematography, the battle scenes, a lot of what the movie makes it great. Is just incredible.
I mean, I would say causally, it seems like people either really love this movie,
Love-hate relationship.
It's not even hate. It's like you love it or you're completely ambivalent towards it. And
Yeah.
I don't think
What
anybody
about
really
yours?
thinks.
I mean, you've seen it. What ranking would you give it?
I'd be in the 6.2 thing, but it's the
Okay.
same reason. It's because it's not my jam.
Yeah.
Okay.
But to go back to the other point of it, it's like I don't think anybody actually like hates the movie. And I say this as based upon what Ryan just informed me of as I was messing up my movies. I probably have to turn to my Criterion collection. Yeah, I don't think anybody really hates this movie.
I would just say this one
fizzle
thing.
or-
So I say 6.2 with a little bit of promise though is that I would watch it again because I feel like I missed a little bit of the underlying stuff in terms of like if you know a little bit more about the period, I think it becomes more interesting to you,
Sure, yeah.
and then you can kind of maybe be like, oh, this is actually like this. They did
It took me
this,
a little
and
bit to
then-
connect the dots too on different relationships.
'cause it's-
So
They don't like
Very intricate.
They don't like spell it out for you.
yep.
We might be
All right,
losing
guys. We're done here. We'll pick it up next segment.
All right, peace.
What an exit.
We got another quick. I want to bring us in because I was looking for a picture of my father when he was 14. He looks exactly like Jeremy. It's hilarious.
I'm sure he does.
So, with the movie review that we just finished there, that was a great segment. I do really enjoy that because we get in kind of like the nooks and crannies of the movie. We kind of really deep dive into it. So I definitely want to make sure that I will be teasing a movie here at the end of this segment for what we're going to go next. Because the first one was Prisoners, Jake Gyllenhaal, and then we had Kingdom of Heaven with Orlando Bloom was the main guy, right?
Liam Neeson also.
Okay.
Jeremy
So
Irons.
I will definitely provide a nice movie that we're gonna delve into next. But let's talk about
That's tease.
the current playoff situation here. And
Playoff
Bobby,
prospects. Yeah.
you're talking about.
Playoffs?
Can you just define it a little bit more?
All right, so playoff prospects. This segment, we're going to kind of go into what teams are we expecting to win the AFC, NFC, respectively, to go to the Super Bowl. We don't have to pick a winner today, but I also want your dark horses as part of that. Like, hey, here's my favorite, but here's someone else that maybe we should consider.
All right, let's do this because I like the structure though. Let's do AFC,
Yep, let's start
NFC,
with AFC. Yep.
North, East, South, West. We'll just pick
we're
one.
going by each. Okay.
Go to a division.
I'll just throw out the division. You pick. Hey, who?
So all right. AFC. What are we talking? East.
I'm starting with AFC East.
We have Miami, right?
Miami, Buffalo, Jets, New England.
Miami.
Yeah, Miami.
Okay. So Baltimore, Cleveland.
Buffalo would be a wild card probably.
So okay. So
Let's not go by divisions. I want to say, hey, here's a team that I'm really feeling in the AFC playoffs.
But let's at least
NFC
go
playoffs.
out of the division though to select that team. Maybe not the team to win the division.
See, now one of my dark horses is Buffalo. I think that,
Okay.
albeit they're not doing great, if they can make themselves available in the playoffs, they have a chance.
They're gonna make the playoffs.
I mean, you don't want to play them. That's for sure.
That's what I'm saying. So my dark horse would be, like, for the AFC would be Buffalo. My primary pick is Baltimore. Baltimore is dominating right now in the AFC. I don't think Miami has the team. I don't think Miami will go deep in the playoffs. And AFC West is just...
Yeah, it's a trash.
I would agree. I was like,
dumpster
my
fire.
favorite would definitely be Baltimore.
But what's your dark horse?
I think the Bills. That's a good pick. I think Miami. They.
Cleveland. No one's giving Cleveland
Ooh.
love.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? I'll give Cleveland love. That's a good
Some
pick.
Cleveland love.
Joe
okay.
Flacco is going full Shane Falco. And
Yeah.
He's come on the scene like a bat out of hell.
All right, what's your AFC?
I love it.
What's your AFC for
I like
your
it.
playoff prospects? We
Dude,
are
Flacco's
fantasy
gonna
football.
Flacco's gonna shit his pants
Shane
when he sees a
Flacco?
real team.
I mean,
He's been
Joe.
doing great. Are you kidding
When
me?
he sees a real defense, he's gonna shit his pants.
No, let him.
Dude,
How many championships you win this? Right. Okay. Go ahead.
you know there's going to be a Baltimore-Cleveland playoff matchup. They're going to set that up in
That's
the
gonna
NFL
be awesome.
script.
That'll be a great game.
I mean, that definitely happens. And Bobby, I'm just gonna throw this out there because I feel like you're
Here we
gonna
go.
bring it up a lot.
Hate.
Yes, you have won a championship this year. I have won a championship in years past, so I can claim the right of champion. Okay, so
I get that.
You're going to be more
And
specific.
in your 10-person league with 3 absentee owners, I'm sure it's very commendable.
I wasn't even in that league, so
So,
you
all right,
just
cool. Moving
shows
forward.
how
What
much
was
you,
the year of your title, Woj?
Yeah, did it have an O before it?
It was Zeke's first year
06?
in the league. That would have been 2017, I believe.
Okay.
It's a bit dated, but it's still a win.
Still there.
I think I said like 2001 or something.
No, what the fuck?
I'm just trolling him. Okay.
All
What's
right.
your AFC? Come on.
Miami
As what, your top
dark horse or
prospect?
favorite?
favorite.
Okay, and
Wow.
what's a dark horse you like? Someone that might surprise you.
Kansas City.
KC. All right.
Kansas City has fucking backed their ass into the playoffs somehow with a terrible, like for them, a 10-6 year. I mean, they got another game. That's a terrible year right now. Like, they're gonna make the playoffs because, as you said, the AFC West is dog shit. So they got a chance to, like, just beat a team or two
Yeah.
here, and then boom, you're in the AFC Championship.
What do you guys think about the Texans' chances?
They gotta win,
Now,
and
obviously, we need C.J. Stroud to be healthy.
You need him to be healthy. That is the crux.
I'm even just saying, man, they need help to just get into the playoffs. So, like, I'm
Right.
not even
They're not
counting
there
them as
yet.
a
I thought
team.
they were already in. No.
No,
Oh, fuck.
they're in the hunt.
9-7s across the board for the NFC
Oh,
South.
that's right. Okay.
So they need to win and help.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know if that is still a weak case to get in.
Indy's ahead of them?
Indy, Jacksonville
Obviously
are
Jacksonville,
both ahead of
Indy,
them.
I think, pulled off the win recently against Oakland. Or sorry, not Oakland.
Okay.
Vegas.
If they were to make it to the playoffs, you think it would be better, Indy or Houston?
Neither. I don't know.
Houston probably has more upside
Houston has.
potential.
You're right. I think
To get one win, to advance
Houston,
one.
I would
advance
give
one
it
game.
Houston. I would give it to Houston.
Okay.
I think they'd have the ability to get more of a win than Indy.
All right, let's
go
flip it
NFC.
over to NFC. What you got, Bob?
Sorry, go Bob.
San Fran, I have to hate him as a Green Bay fan. I have to hate him, but I like Purdy. They have the complete team. He's got to do well. I mean, you saw Baltimore kind of dismantled it, but let's go San Fran. And my, I guess, dark horse would be, I would say my dark horse would be, the Eagles. I'm going to call them the dark horse because they still have Hurts. Their defense is porous as hell, and there's a lot of problems. But if they could muster it together, if they could start to develop some momentum, they're going to be dangerous because at least they have the offensive. You have Hurts. You have a chance. So that would be my dark horse.
All right, Ryan, what you got?
San Fran definitely favorite. They got offense and defense. Both sides of the ball are loaded. Dark horse, Dallas. They're always pretenders.
Them boys.
They're always
yeah.
pretenders. However, CeeDee Lamb is having a spectacular season, and Dak Prescott sometimes is looking like a world beater, sometimes not so much. But if he has a game where he puts it on, they can contend with anybody. And they got Micah Parsons on D. They can. I think they have.
I can't think of anyone in the NFC South being worth a damn. So sorry, they're
but
dumpster
Buccaneers,
fire.
maybe. I don't know.
No, not even. And then you look at the West. I mean, what?
Seattle.
Seahawks?
Yeah.
No, so I guess that's why I made Philly my dark horse. But go ahead,
Really?
wrap it up.
Yeah, I mean, San Fran is definitely the clear favorite. I do have a feeling of brewing, though, that like a guy like Purdy, Debo, McCaffrey, somebody of that caliber goes down, maybe even on defense. I feel like one chip in the armor, though, could lead to like, hey, somebody ekes out a win because you're playing playoff football then.
Yeah.
The teams are good. You're no longer playing.
You're not
like,
playing, your Washington Redskins.
Or if you
your
are,
Green Bay.
it's usually like like you get Jacksonville, who can be good. They can score 35 points sometimes. They can also score 3.
They've been trending downwards for me.
Right. So I would go with, again, San Fran is just, again, clear favorite. I would put Philly definitely as the dark horse. But against my better judgment, I'm going to go LA Rams.
Okay, I like that.
I'm liking the explosiveness of the offense, specifically if they're like, we need to get 75 yards here. You got two guys that can do it. Stafford slings, and you can throw it to Cooper. You can throw it to Puka Nacua. You can also run it with Kyron Williams. He's had 100 yards game like every last game. So
I'm loving his performance.
It's like one of those teams that, again, if offense is needed, those teams.
Golf clap. That was a
they
great.
got it.
And you still got Aaron Donald, one of the best pass rushers in the league, definitely of the past decade.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Turn it on.
With
I
my
like that. Great selection. Oh man.
So
Great
yeah, I
insight.
mean, this is a couple things that we'll as we're kind of wrapping up here. We do like to do a little shorty here. So a couple things I'm going to mention. So one, I am going to go back through the episodes here, and we didn't do it every single week, but I think it would be curious to see of what our
how
picks for the week for the
How
entire
poorly
season.
we did, yeah.
So I'm going to throw those up, and
Okay.
we're going to have to work on like graphics and how that presents because I don't want to just read them. I want to just kind of put them on the screen as
I
we're
got
talking.
you.
So I definitely want to do that.
I'm not
The
excited
other
about the results.
the other teaser kind of thing again is as we're coming to the end of the season though is that I think we'll definitely talk about football a good amount just because again the namesake of the show, but we are going to foray into other areas. I am curious to kind of just really if you guys have like an idea one week to be like, hey, I want to talk about welding or some shit like that. Maybe
But,
we
I mean,
dive
I
into
like
weld.
our movie segment. We have gaming. There's gonna be a lot of
I
different
had mentioned
avenues.
it to you before, Woj.
Welding?
Well, what?
We could all pick like maybe a show or something, review a season or something, or a few episodes. I don't know if we ever.
But I like that, the cinematography or the movie.
I like the movie thing, yeah, for sure.
Well, yeah, we did throw it up before. What's that face for?
I knocked the table.
Oh, you're fine. But we did throw it up before though, like way long ago, like episode 3 or whatever. Is like I picked Shameless because I was watching it at the time. You picked the Continental with John Wick stuff, and then Ryan, you had
I
a
did House of Usher. The Fall
House
of the
of
House of
Usher.
Usher.
I've heard only great things.
I did
about
watch.
that.
So if we have those ready to go, I'm about to finish Shameless. Where you at in the Continental?
Nowhere close to where I need.
Well, I was
Uh,
thinking more of like we all watch one.
Right.
So this is what we can do. Is we obviously have a lot of open topics to kind of discuss.
Concepts,
I'm just throwing it out there to the people watching.
Yeah,
is that
comment. Let us know what you want to hear.
But also like just stay tuned because again, the Fantasy Football Journeyman will talk about football, but when football's not on, there's got to be other topics to talk about. We're gonna get other people on.
We already have cocktail hour. I want to make sure that, and I'm going to outcook you.
good.
So
I mean,
in the kitchen with Robert.
we
Lonhart,
will-
the champion.
Oh, that would be
Woj's
good.
field goal challenge.
Oh yeah, that's definitely happening.
Can we
I
get
can't
3
wait.
grills and do a steak off?
So this is
I
definitely
don't care
what
if
we're
we
gonna have. We're
record
gonna
it. I
have
just want to eat.
the Woj field goal for a lottery. You guys are supplying the $1 million, right? I think.
Yeah,
I
there's no
called
way
it
he's
right.
making this kick. Yeah.
Also play
Woj 45-yarder field
play the
goal.
commentary.
It's happening. This might also turn into an exclusive video. Aaron and I were kind of talking about that
To our
behind the
Patreon
scenes.
users.
No, not that. We got the
Nothing
IHOP
but
challenge.
feet.
The
Smash
IHOP
the
challenge of everybody's going to try and eat as many pancakes or whatever they want.
We'll do like a 10, 15 minute interval. but
as
yeah.
they can. And then there's just, again, other topics, other things that we're going to kind of get into. So without further ado, because I know that you
The
guys
teaser,
are
yeah, I'm
waiting
curious.
here, we just kind of
it
wrapped up with Bobby's
Drum roll,
Kingdom
please.
of Heaven. It was a great movie for sure to watch. Again, in terms of, I still enjoyed it. Even though the topic didn't grasp me, it was still good
Right.
stuff.
I understand.
Quality made film.
Quality made film. Good way to throw it out there. So I will be going with Snatch
Okay.
as the movie. It is one of my favorite films. I have seen it. I haven't seen it in a long time though. Get ready, boys, because you're gonna laugh your goddamn dicks
excited.
I
off.
love me some Brad Pitts. I'm excited.
I just like the comedy aspect, and so many different characters have some fucking hilarious line. The quote part specifically, I'm really excited to see what you guys pick on that.
I'm excited.
So, we will see you guys on the next episode. This has been the Fantasy Football Journeyman podcast. I'm going to throw it over to everybody here just to give a little bit of a peace out.
I appreciate it. Your champion allows you to now exit this film. I permit it.
Happy New Year.
Goodbye, good night, and good luck.
I'm better than you.